It's 2:30.
It's 2:30.
And our next
And our next committee.
Can you hear me, Sarah?
Yes.
Yes.
Our next
Our
committee.
next committee of the day.
I'm not sure why I'm
not
getting
sure why
some echo here. Let me try this again. Our next committee of the day is the Health and Social Services Committee. Those committee members are Amobian, Freeman, Baylor, Neal, and Holland. If I could ask all committee members to turn on their video. Madam Chair, you have all members present. Councilman Neal is joining us now, so you do have all members present whenever you're ready.
Okay, I'd like to call the Health and Social Services Committee meeting to order. May I have a motion to accept the minutes from the previous meeting, please?
So moved. Second.
It's been moved and seconded. All in favor?
Aye.
The minutes are approved. We have one piece on the old agenda, and we don't have any new legislation. And I believe we all agree that this is a great program and will have some excellent benefits to our citizens. And I love all the work that they've done with all the collaborations they've established. So I am looking for a motion to move the resolution.
So move. Second.
It's been moved and seconded. All in favor?
Aye.
Okay. The resolution is approved and I believe that's all we have on the agenda today.
That is
there any-
correct.
Okay. Thank you very much. Is there a motion to adjourn? We are adjourned.
Our next committee today will be the Budget and Finance Committee, and it will begin at 3 o'clock. Those committee members are Freeman, Amobian, Malik, Baylor, and Lombardo. Again, that's the Budget and Finance Committee, and it will begin at 3 o'clock. Thank you.
Thank you.
Our next committee of the day is the Budget and Finance Committee. Those committee members are Freeman, Amobian, Malik, Baylor, and Lombardo. We do have all committee members present except for Councilwoman Amobian, but you do have a quorum whenever you're ready, Mr. Chair.
Okay, thank you. I'd like to call the budget meeting to order. If I could please have a motion to accept the minutes.
So moved.
So moved. Second.
I have a motion and a second. All in favor, please let it be known by saying aye.
Aye.
Okay, very good. All right, we have 2 items coming before us today. First item is an ordinance providing for the issuance and sale of notes in a principal amount not to exceed $13 million to pay the property owner's portion in anticipation of the levy and collection of special assessments of the cost of improving certain streets in the city between certain termini by providing street cleaning services and street lighting and declaring an emergency.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. So this is our annual issuance for our special assessment street cleaning and street lighting program. The $13 million amount is the same that we have done for the past, I'm sure it's in excess of 10 years now. It's probably more like 15. So the amounts haven't changed. The assessment rates have not changed. So this is essentially the exact same thing as last year. So the fund, these funds will fund the program for 2023. We will levy those assessments on the property taxes and then pay this note back next year with the assessments that we collect from our property owners.
Okay, very good. Thank you, Mr. Fricker. Any questions or comments from any committee members or any other council members that might be in attendance?
There are no hands raised here in chambers, Mr. Chair.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Mr. Fricker, what would be the pleasure?
We would like to pass this if we could.
Okay, do I have a motion to suspend the rules and issue a favorable report?
So moved.
So moved. Second.
I have a motion and a second. All those in favor, please let it be known by saying aye.
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 All right, opposed? Thank you. Next, we have an ordinance authorizing the issuance and sale of bonds in the maximum principal amount of $12,600,000 for the purpose of paying a portion of the city's $48,645,000 various purpose general obligation bond anticipation note, Series 2022, at maturity and declaring an emergency.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. So this is refinancing a portion of our outstanding GO debt. We are going to take the 2020 portion of our outstanding note and finance it with long-term bonds. The remainder of that will be, and we'll be bringing in legislation next week, we'll be refinancing that with another note. So we're just taking the oldest portion out to 20-year bonds, and then we're going to refinance the remaining portion with notes.
All right, questions or comments from committee members or any other council members?
Mr. Chair, Councilman Malik has his hand raised here.
Councilman Malik, please.
Thank you, Mr. Chair, and thank you, Mr. Fricker. I guess my question is just, what's the benefit of taking out this specific amount and doing it differently?
You when you finance with notes, you can only do that for a period of a few years, and since these were the oldest portion, and because interest rates are rather high right now, we're only going to finance the oldest portion with notes, and then depending on what happens with rates next year, we may or may not, take more out to bonds next year.
Okay, thank you. For those of us without financial expertise, that's
Right.
helpful.
Correct.
All right, any other questions or comments? Would you like this passed as well, Mr. Fricker?
Yes, we would.
Okay,
Make a motion to approve with suspension of the rules.
Second.
we have a motion and a second. All in favor, please let it be known by saying aye.
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 Okay, any opposed? Okay, I'm sorry, Mr. Neal, I just saw your hand. Thank you.
Thanks, Mr. Chairman. When Mr. Fricker answered, I'd like to know what the overall impact, because he did mention basically now this note is going to be higher because interest rates are higher. how does that impact our overall financial picture? And moving forward, since we're issuing new bonds to replace debt that we owe that potentially was when interest rates were lower. Again,
Yeah, so Councilman Neal, it was kind of breaking up there, but I think that basically the gist of the question was, how does this impact, the city's finances with the fact that we are, taking this issuance out to bonds? So it's something, interest rates do go up and down. We've been fortunate over the past really several years to have rather low interest rates. This will impact us somewhat, the fact that rates have gone up a little bit. That's why we're issuing a smaller amount for these longer term bonds, and hopefully, be able to basically be in a better position next year to take more of these out to long-term financing with lower rates.
Any follow-up? Yes, Mr. Neal.
yes, thank you, Mr. Fricker. I appreciate you sharing that. If at some other point you could come back to us to give us an idea, with all this happening globally, interest rates probably will not be coming down for some time. If we could get an idea on what that impact could look like and what are our options to offset, the how the global economy is impacting interest rates. Because if we have bonds that are coming up, that are coming due, and we have to renew all of them with other bonds at higher interest rates, if we could get that picture, please, sir. And then again, what other options we could have, if any at all.
So one of the things I want to kind of, some of the options that we do have, and as council is aware, we've done, much of this in the past where, if we do even these bonds, so we're going to issue 20-year bonds here, these bonds will have a call feature on them, typically after 10 years. So depending on how interest rates do, it's there's a good possibility that, and even if interest rates don't, as long as they don't go up, even if they stay the same, it's likely that in 10 years we would be able to refinance these bonds at a lower rate. So, the fact that we build call structures into our long-term financing does give us options as we get several years down the road as to whether we continue to pay interest on those bonds at, at those rates or refinance them. So, we do keep a lot of flexibility in our debt financing to really get the best, rates that we can at the time. And again, it does kind of go up and down with the market, but be in a position to take the, advantage of the rates when they are low and pay the smallest amount when they are a little bit higher like they are now.
I'm curious, Steve, what any new bonds that we issue, I know they go out on the market and they're snatched up immediately. What are those paying to investors right now?
I'm sorry, could you repeat that question?
Okay, what bonds that we issue that are picked up by investors, what are they paying right now?
So these bonds will probably be in the 4.5 to 5% range, somewhere in there. That's
Okay.
what the yields will be. Yeah.
Okay, thank you. Any other questions or comments? All right. If there's nothing else to come before us, we are adjourned at 3:12 p.m. Thank you.
That is the final committee meeting today. Council will meet at 7 p.m. tonight. Thank you.